Hi there, I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston, in the northwest of England. And I offer this devotion as a balm for the heart, for the mind, for the spirit, and for the soul. And it's titled, Let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. I like to celebrate our fellow animals. And I don't just mean our animal friends, I include we who walk on two legs too. I feel it's important to recognise that we too are animals, that the animals who we share this world with are kin. We are formed from the same flesh and I believe have the same spirit animating us. Okay, we're not exactly the same, but we are formed from the same earth and are animated by the very same breath of life. In fact, it's worth remembering that the word animal is from the Latin word animalis, which means having a soul. The word animal shares the same root as the word for breath, animus. So yes, we are formed from the same earth, with the same spirit within us. Now, somewhere along the way, we humans began to think of ourselves as far superior to other animals, somehow separate from them. But this was not always so. In ancient times and in what some might call primitive cultures today that still exist, the animals were lauded as great teachers, purveyors of wisdom, possessors of souls that had deep spiritual qualities. There was a time when humans and animals were more closely connected. And some of we modern rational thinkers tend to look on all of this as ignorance. But I wonder, and I challenge you to wonder too. Is it possible that they may know or might know something that we do not know, or something that we've forgotten perhaps? And I certainly recognise what I might call soul that a human possesses in my little mate, in my little dog Molly. She's been a great part of my life these last 3 years. I don't know if I could live without her really. We've gone through so much together. She's walked with me and I've walked with her. The Hindus talk of the Atman in each of us, and I see the Atman very much in Molly, as much as I see it in humans too, as much as I see it in myself, with those eyes. And I've also found that Molly is often a bridge between myself and others. She enables me to get closer to people when I'm out and about in the town. She led to a conversation just the other day which brought healing to a person as that person left our company. What began as someone interested in Molly led to a deep conversation about grief, about love, about loss. And if that is not the soul at work in life, I don't know what is. Molly's soul became a bridge between two human souls, and it brought great blessing. Gary Kowalski, a Unitarian Universalist minister in the USA, has written extensively on animals and spirituality. And he said the following on soul, relating it to humans and of course to animals. Just a couple of paragraphs I want to share with you. Many people think of soul as the element of personality that survives bodily death. But for me it refers to something much more down to earth. Soul is the marrow of our existence as sentient, sensitive beings. It's soul that's revealed in great works of art, and soul that's lifted up in awe when we stand in silence under a night sky burning with billions of stars. When we speak of a soulful piece of music, we mean one that comes out of infinite depths of feeling. When we speak of the soul of a nation, we mean its capacity for valour and visionary change. Soul is present wherever our lives intersect the dimension of the holy, in moments of intimacy, in flights of fancy, and in rituals that hallow the evanescent events of our lives with enduring significance. Soul is what makes each of our lives a microcosm, not merely a meaningless fragment of the universe, but at some level a reflection of the whole. Without anthropomorphizing our non-human relations, we can acknowledge that animals share many human characteristics. They have individual likes and dislikes, moods and mannerisms, and possess their own integrity, which suffers when not respected. They play and are curious about their world. They develop friendships and sometimes risk their own lives to help others. They have animal faith, a spontaneity and directness that can be most refreshing. All the traits indicative of soul. For soul is not something we can see or measure. We can observe it only in outward manifestations, in tears and laughter, in courage and heroism, in generosity and forgiveness. Soul is what's behind the scenes in the tough and tender moments when we are most intensely and grippingly alive. Yeah, the soul is alive. In humans and animals, I strongly believe that. It is the essence of life. This week, Dr. Jane Goodall died. A great figure. She worked with chimpanzees and other animals all her life, and her work showed how closely we humans are connected to the other animals. She spent her whole life showing the world that animals are not things, but beings with emotions, families, and futures worth protecting. Jane died on October the 1st, aged 91. She reshaped science and has inspired generations. Sir David Attenborough called her a woman who turned the world of zoology on its head. She and David stuck together, speaking for those who have no words, and no doubt her spirit, her soul, will live on. I came across the following written in her honour, actually, and by that famous author Anonymous. I don't know who actually wrote this. If it was a person at all, who knows? She walked softly through the forest, yet her voice carried across continents. Jane Goodall was not merely a scientist. She was a soul entwined with nature's breath. With patience as her compass and compassion as her creed, she listened to the whispers of chimpanzees and taught humanity to hear. Her legacy is etched not in soul, but in the living pulse of every creature she defended. She stood against extinction, against indifference, against despair, undaunting, unyielding. Her eyes saw not just animals, but kin. Her hands planted hope where others saw ruin. And now, though she walks in flesh no more among the trees, her spirit rustles in every leaf, echoes in every call of the wild. Let us carry her torch, not as mourners, but as stewards. For Jane Goodall did not vanish. She became the forest. Yeah, the soul lives on. A friend contacted me recently. She was asking for help, for a poem or something that might help a dear friend of hers who had recently lost her beloved dog. Their friend was heartbroken, in deep, deep grief. I pointed her towards Mary Oliver, Mary who wrote so beautifully about life, about death, about spirituality, about nature, and about dogs. Mary Oliver loved dogs. She wrote a beautiful poetry collection which I have called Dog Songs. It's a wonderful collection, and I pointed my friend towards that book as a gift for her friend. She wrote many great things, and one of her great poems, of course, is Wild Geese. And Wild Geese seem to exemplify Mary's qualities in just a few simple lines. So here is Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile the world goes on. Meanwhile the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Now this family of things that we're all a part of, why do we forget? If we just remember we're all part of the same family of things, how could we abuse or hurt anyone or anything? We're all part of the same family of things. The wild geese are always calling to me. They lift me up towards the sky so many times when my head wants to look down in pain or in shame, when the world seems too much to me, when I see violence and our inhumanity at times, the cruelty that human beings are capable of. But the wild geese, their call raises me up. It encourages me and reminds me how we are all in this together and how much we actually need one another. It reminds me of the good that we are capable of our capacity for incredible goodness, for the decency that most folk live by, the respect and decency. We could but remember that and to live this way always. We could live like the wild geese, calling out, encouraging one another. I once heard the wild geese described as the communion of saints. And maybe they are. Maybe that's right. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. I think it's one of the greatest lines in poetry. And think in this age where some suggest that there is no soul, that we're just limbering robots, disembodied intellects. It's vital that we never forget that there is a soft animal of the body, that it purrs with agency in every aspect of our lived experience, from hunger to love. It is vital that we never forget that our intelligence is not the crowning glory of nature, but just one particular special feature of one particular animal, the human animal. All around us, if we look at the animals, they all have their own special aspects, their own element of soul. When we forget and we alienate ourselves from the soft animal of our body, we feel disconnected and separate lives. Perhaps this is why so many folk experience deep loneliness and a sense of separation. But we're a part of life and we do belong here. And the soft animal of our body knows this. We have a precious, precious gift that is life. Let us take care of it. Let us revere it. As Albert Schweitzer so said, let us live with reverence for life. As Walt Whitman observed of other animals, they do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie away in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied. Not one is demented with the mania of owning things. And Whitman, of course, was the poet of body and soul. He sang the body electric. And in these words he holds up a mirror to we creatures inhabiting an animal body and an animal soul. And I think there's a sentiment here similar to the words of the 13th century mystic Mechthild of Magdburg. Words posted actually on the same day that Jane Goodall died, on the 1st of October, These words were posted as a daily devotion by the Reverend Laura Dobson this Wednesday, as a thought for the day for Wednesday the 1st of October. The noblest joy of the senses, the holiest peace of the heart, the most resplendent lustre of all good works derives from this, that the creature puts his or her heart wholly into what he does. And they do, wholeheartedly, holy. The animals can teach us how to be true to our natures. They can help us see ourselves as we truly are, as a part of life, as a part of the nature of everything. So many of our human problems stem from our sense of separation, that we are not a part of everything. By observing the animals, we can once again see that we are a part of everything and that we belong here and that there is nothing really wrong with us. We just forget who we are from time to time. We need to simply let the soft animal of our body love what it loves. Francis Hodgson Burnett, author of The Secret Garden, said, "How is it that animals understand things I do not know, but it is certain that they do understand? Perhaps there is a language which is not made of words, and everything in the world understands it. Perhaps there is a soul hidden in everything, and it can always speak without even making a sound to another soul." Maybe there is. We can learn so much from our brothers and sisters, the animals. They can teach us once again what it is to be fully human and a part of life. We just need to remember to let the soft animal of our body love what it loves. And if you want to know how to do that, just go outside. Observe the birds in the air or the dogs in the park. Listen to them as they fly and sing and watch them at play. For all souls need to let the soft animal of their bodies love what they love. Now, I've just had a thought that I need to add something extra to this devotion, which I've not scripted, but it's a song that was sent to me just the other day by my colleague Ant Howe. I think this song was created by artificial intelligence, so apologies for that. But it's a version of one of my favourite hymns, actually, How Can I Keep From Singing? My Life Flows On in Endless Song. Well, this is called My Life Flows On in Endless Bark. So thanks to Ant Howe and whatever created this, created from so much. Who knows what's at the soul of everything. So this is My Life Flows On in Endless Bark. My life flows on in endless bark, above earth's lamentation. I hear my pup's sweet woofing voice. It brings such consolation. Through all the noise and daily stress, there comes a joyful ringing, the love I share with my good dog. How can I keep from singing? When stormy paths confuse my way, and worries rise unbidden, a wagging tail, a nuzzle soft, uncovers peace long hidden. The lead may tug, the world may pull, but still my heart is winging, with muddy paws and loyal eyes. How can I keep from singing. The kinship of all creatures bright now gathers in this meeting, with every bark and happy howl. Our heart gives dogs their greeting. What blessing lives in every soul? What grace their presence bringing, in fur and fun, in trust and love. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing indeed? So I'm going to end with some final words of blessing. You know, we need to bless more, and we can all bless. We bless when we give ourselves wholeheartedly to life. Gracious God, hear and bless the beasts and singing birds, and guard with tenderness small things that have no words. And may we carry that unconditional love with us, and may we do so in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, in all that we do. Amen.